Welcome to Pembrokeshire. This delightful area of Wales can be found on the very western coast of the country, and it's filled with natural wonders, beautiful castles, and lots of hidden gems. In today's video, we're going to show you all of the best places to visit in this beautiful region, so let's go and explore. Welcome to Tenby. This is one of the best places to visit in South Wales. We're on the Pembrokeshire coastline, and this area is particularly known for its beautiful, colourful houses. If you're visiting by car, then you should know that access to the village is very limited, only to residents, and so you'll have to park in a car park outside of town. Luckily, this does mean that you get amazing views of Tenby on the way in, including from here in Croft Gardens. Thanks to the presence of 3 sandy beaches, the town grew to particular prominence during the Victorian era as a resort town. St Mary's Church, much like most other churches in England, is completely free to visit. It's open every day of the week to the public, so let's go and check out the inside. When visiting Tenby, you'll want to make sure that you're here around low tide, because that's the only way to reach the tidal island of St Catherine's. You can actually visit it for a small fee, I think it's around £5, and explore the fort there. So let's go and check it out. You'll have to cross Castle Beach in order to get to the fort. Previously, there was a church on site, but this had to be demolished in 1867 to make way for the Napoleonic era fort that's now there. You can pay by cash or card, and then you have to make your way up these very steep, slippery steps. They're even full of barnacles from the sea when it comes in. It's actually amazing how many uses this fort has seen over the centuries. Well, mainly over the past 150 years. This was once a very luxurious bathroom, although it's definitely seen better days, and I'm not sure the water still runs. The exact history of St Catherine's Church isn't really known, but it's thought that it was dismantled during the reign of King Henry VIII after he fell out with the Pope. Then it was replaced by the fort. In the early 1900s, the fort was no longer in use, and a family actually purchased the island. They lived here and they had amazing chandeliers, furs on the floor. It was a very grandiose manor house. All of this changed a few decades later, and in the 1970s, it was actually a zoo. It then fell into complete disrepair there and was vandalized. This all changed when it was transformed into the museum you now see. There are lots of exhibits inside about the history of the island, the pirating of the area, and also the history of the building itself. In 2016, the island was then used as a filming location for an episode of Sherlock Holmes. Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman came here to film on the island, and it's meant to stand in for an island in the North Sea. Aside from the fort, the other main thing to see in Tenby is its castle, which now lies in ruins, but we can go and check it out now. Tenby Castle dates all the way back to the 12th century when it was built by the Normans. Today, admission is completely free because, as you can see, unfortunately only one small tower is left. However, it definitely is worth hiking up the hill here, as the castle hill provides commanding views over the surrounding countryside and also onto several of Tenby's beaches. From here, you can also see Caldey Island, which has a really rich history of pirating. Today, it's home to Cistercian monks, and it can be visited as a day trip from Tenby. It's around a 20 to 30 minute boat ride away. Because it's all pedestrianised, the best way to get around is on foot, and just to allow the town to reveal itself to you, you can discover a little chapel, a Tudor merchant's house which is now owned and run by the National Trust, and even pieces of the medieval town walls. This is the Green Bridge of Wales, and it's widely considered to be one of the most beautiful places to visit in Pembrokeshire. The waves over the centuries and millennia have carved out a natural rock arch formation, much like Dowdle in Dorset. If you want to visit, make sure you put Elagog rock stacks into your Google Maps, because if you put the actual archway, then you'll be taken to a spot 3 miles down the coastline. Also, be careful when you visit because the cliff faces are very, very steep, so be careful, especially with children and dogs. This is a beautiful stretch of coastline no matter what the weather, and you should be prepared for lots of different weather types, because when we arrived it was pouring with rain. Now, as you can see, it's really sunny, and I wish I had my sunglasses, so do bring a rain jacket and some sturdy walking shoes. There's a huge car park here, so you can just bring your car down here. It's actually really hard to reach by public transportation. There's also picnic benches at the car park, but you do have to drive through a military zone to get here, so it's not guaranteed that you'll actually be able to reach this point. We're now headed down to St Govan's Chapel. The story goes that back in the 5th and 6th century, this area was full of Celtic missionaries who would come along the coastline to spread the word. Unfortunately, this area was also home to a lot of pirates. On one particularly fateful night in the 6th century, St Govan was sailing along the coastline here. He was pursued by pirates. Luckily, all of a sudden, the rocks opened up and St. Govan and his ship sailed inside the cove and was safe for now. It was in this location that St. Govan's followers decided to construct a chapel. Now, there might have been a chapel here as far back as the 6th century, but what is known as the one you can see today dates all the way back to the 13th. The only way to get to the chapel is to walk down a very narrow, steep flight of steps. And once you get there, the chapel is truly wedged between the cliff faces. The Bosherton lily ponds are one of the best places to visit in Pembrokeshire. They're really easy to get to as there's a car park right next door and you can walk around, enjoy all of the lilies. The best time to come is definitely in July and August when the lilies are actually in bloom. We stopped for a coffee at this delightful little cafe known as Ye Old World Cafe. There's a selection of hot and cold drinks as well as sandwiches. Pembroke Castle is one of the best castles to visit in the region. It dates all the way back to the 11th century when it was built during the Norman invasion of Wales. Today, it's an amazingly preserved medieval castle in the heart of one of the largest towns in the region. If you're looking for a fun water-based activity, then you can also rent a rowboat to go around the moat here. St David's is the smallest city in Britain, and in 2021 it had a population of just 1,751 residents. In England and Wales, for the most part, to become a city you have to have a cathedral, and St David's was granted city status in the 12th century. It's also the final resting place of St David, who is the patron saint of Wales. The whole of the city is built out of this beautiful purple sandstone, which contrasts beautifully with all of the hydrangea, which are in peak bloom in late July till late August. The most important thing to see in this tiny city is a cathedral, which is very large considering the size of the actual town. It dates all the way back to the 12th century and it can be found right next door to the old Bishop's Palace, well, the ruins of it at least, which date back to the 14th century. St David's Cathedral is free to visit, but donations are always appreciated. One of the more unusual things to know about this ecclesiastical building is that the building has shifted immensely over time, and so there is a height difference of 4 meters between the east and west ends. A monastery was originally established here in the 6th century, although it was unfortunately raided by the Norse over 10 times. The building you see today dates back to between the 13th and 14th centuries. If you want to learn more about the history of the city and its surroundings, then you can head to the visitor centre. There's loads of free exhibitions here. There's a staff which can tell you nearby things to see in the area, and you can also pick up some pamphlets. One of the best parts about visiting St David's is its proximity to the Welsh coastline. From here, you can walk all along the Welsh coastal path, which is unique because it's one of the only countries in the world that has a coastal path spanning its whole length. This particular area is home to Non Chapel. According to local legend, 1500 years ago, a young woman gave birth here in this cove all alone. There was a raging thunderstorm going on, but she was protected by a golden shaft of light. In her pain, she gripped the rocks and they split in two in sympathy. She gave birth to St David, and she herself was called St Non, and there's now a chapel dedicated to her right here. The well here is meant to have sprung up during the very thunderstorm where St David was born, around 500 Common Era. The waters are meant to have healing properties. Welcome to Skomer. We're on a tiny little island just off the coast of Pembrokeshire in Wales, and this island has actually been inhabited for thousands of years. There's even bronze hut circle remains on the island. However, today no one lives here apart from a few wildlife conservationists, because the island is home to tens of thousands of seabirds. In fact, this island, along with two others in the area, is home to half of the Manx shearwater population in the world. It's also home to 35,000 puffins, so I'm sure we'll be able to see some today. If you want to learn even more about puffins and Skomer itself, then be sure to check out our full Skomer Island video on the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more UK travel content. See you next time. Bye!